Welcome to Unrolled, episode number 50, take 2, because we just had a 30-minute scream session with the Autoports guy. So that was pretty cool. Do you think it did anything?
He won't do nothing.
Do you think it did a fucking thing?
He doesn't have no power to do anything.
20 seconds in and already dropped the F-bomb.
Nice guy, though.
Yeah, he took it like a champ. So, I doubt if anything will. You know what did you hear what the end of it was? Yeah, just use Alton. We'll deliver to you. Right. We're not going to do anything about this guy that's ruining our business and our namesake. So welcome to Unrolled. And today we have a special cigar we're going to cut, light, and smoke. And we're going to unroll it as well. So
I like the label on it, though.
The label's pretty cool. You know who I was thinking?
The label.
It reminds me of Minus a Chef hat. Like, I don't know. The whole thing's kind of Dan Johnson-ish looking, you know.
It is, yeah.
No, it's definitely... I wish he was here to smoke this, Mr. Johnson. He's busy winning awards around the...
Right, raising his prices.
I saw that post. Yeah, right. Yeah, when you win shit at SEMA, bro, you get an extra $1 or $2 per job, I think, right?
Right.
So, so this is the knuckle sandwich from Guy Fieri, and you bought this where, Chuck?
I bought this at Leaf and Cedar in Kentucky.
Leaf and Cedar, that's kind of a cool name.
Did you see the sign?
No, I don't know if I did.
Super cool sign.
Really?
Sign was real cool.
What a cool name of a shop. I like that.
I think it was either Leaf and Cedar or Cedar and Leaf.
Either way, it's still cool.
But the owner was really cool too. He was a real nice guy. Leaf and Cedar.
Oh, look at that.
I thought the sign was neat.
Oh, that is cool.
And it's kind of worn. Like that. I took that from Instagram. I didn't take that myself. I took that from Google, not Instagram.
It's a pipe in a cigar. I thought it was a glass of brandy or something.
And it's a little worn now, so it's even cooler looking.
Nice.
Because it's a little faded.
Just in a strip mall?
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Kind of a small strip mall. It was kind of a weird strip mall.
Like our strip mall here?
No, this was right next to the gas station. It was like L'd around the gas station.
Okay.
But it had a different entrance than the gas station. It was just kind of weird to turn into.
So Leaf and Cedar is in what town? Cedar and
Louisville.
Louisville. And you went down there for food?
Yeah, I went down there for to see Gorilla Bob.
You went down there for dinner?
Nah, kind of.
Chuck drove to Louisville, Kentucky to get dinner. So that's how bad the restaurants are around where we record this. So, speaking of that, on Sunday... You done landing your plane? Jesus Christ. On Sunday, we drove all the way to South County to go to Chevy's. Chevy's Mexican.
Why? Because
we were being nostalgic about...
It's just Tex-Mex. That's the problem with...
Well, no, it is. But, we were being nostalgic about Casa Gallardo.
Oh.
And so it's... these are overly built, very beautiful... the salsa's different. We had some really good... All the food was really good. And then they had F.I.F flavors down there. So we just went around the corner and got...
It tastes different, but all 15 Mexican restaurants within the 5-mile square radius that we live in
are the same.
It's all Tex-Mex. It's all the same food.
Dude, I think you're doing Tex-Mex a disservice because I lived in Mexico or whatever. I lived down there on those borders, New Mexico, Texas. And Tex-Mex down there is obviously way different than here.
Well, yeah.
So what this is, and not to sound too incredibly racist or anything, is whitewashed fucking Mexican food. This is what it used to be. And now we have to dumb it down for you guys, or we have to add a bunch of filler, so you feel like you're getting a great value. Or do you know why we drove to Chevy's to eat? Because there wasn't one thing on the menu that wasn't covered in some goddamn cheese sauce. Try to find something next door that's not covered in cheese sauce, minus tacos, of course, right?
I get the cheese when I get the tacos. So.
Well, no, you're getting the shredded cheese on it, not that cheese sauce that's been baking since 1989 or whatever. So, but, it's like, so I go to, when I go to eat around here, if we're going for a quick Mexican, I go to Riviera Maya. It's pretty close to the house. We have to pass an El Mezcal to get there, but we go to Riviera Maya. And whenever we go there, I get one dish basically all the time.
Right.
And it's because it's the only effing dish that has not covered in complete. You know, doesn't have any cheese sauce all over it. If I wanted cheese sauce, why don't I just get cheese sauce and then I can?
Well, you should go to El Mezcal and get the Molcajete El Mezcal
In Bethalto, because El Mezcals are a little different from spot to spot.
Alton should have it too.
I understand that they should have it.
It's owned by the same guy.
Yeah, but it's got different servers, and sometimes I want to punch a bitch. That's a real thing.
No, that's the same from everyone.
Yeah, that's a real thing, man. And
it's the same at Bethalto too.
Okay, well then I'm probably not going to go. Ginger thought I hated Mexicans. Like I absolutely adore everyone, you know, and I lived down there for a few years, and so I actually have just a beautiful appreciation for their culture, and I absolutely love it. And if I needed to disappear, that's the country I would disappear to, because that's how much I enjoy it.
But you're supposed to say you'd disappear to Canada. That way they don't look for you in Mexico.
Well, everybody knows I fucking don't do cold. Like I am super mad already because it was 40 degrees this morning. But yeah, you know, it's but we would go to El Mezcal in Godfrey, and this one lady, man, whoo, I mean, she would like.
What happened to the one in Alton? That is that other spot now, isn't it? Was by Shoguns.
Oh yeah, that's Riviera Maya. That's where we go.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where we go. Always treated pretty well. There is one lady at that one who isn't good at her job, you know. And so since we ate at Mexican restaurants so much, Ginger just thought I hated fucking Mexicans. So then we went to somewhere where I couldn't, you know, it's like, don't expect me to know what the fuck you're saying if English is like your fifth fucking language you're learning, you know?
Right.
So anyway, I was just mad. So I just do your job, you know? Like, if I have the water cup sitting on the edge of the table, I will keep putting it further closer to the edge, because I would prefer, like, a refill. You know, I mean, I know it's not, you know, a margarita that you're taxing the shit out of, you know.
Right.
Anyway, get off my rant.
That would.
You know what really grinds my gears?
We've got 15 of them in the area, so just pick one. This is how I can tell you if a Mexican restaurant's any good. The beans. It's rather the beans taste like they come out of a can, or if they're actually homemade. And a lot of people will tell you that, no, we make them fresh, like Next Door. Next Door sometimes makes them fresh.
Do they?
Sometimes they're out of a can. They don't expect that you can taste the difference, but I can taste the difference.
So, you know, you and I have actually both had food off the tree stump.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, obviously we have a higher, you know.
Maybe it was dog. Maybe it wasn't.
Who cares? Was it delicious?
Right.
Yeah,
yes, it was.
Yeah, did you know, and that's the thing, like.
Yes, it was.
And so, can you remember a time.
Were there fly pieces in it?
Oh,
Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Dude, I would get a truck. So, you know, I lived close to the border a lot, and, you know, there'd be trucks that would cross the border into the U.S., into like Texas college towns and stuff, or New Mexico or whatever. And, you know, they came right across the border. And so, you know, if I caught them on either side of the border, you get this plate, and it's the cheapest paper plate you could ever find, right? Yep. You know which one I'm talking about. And it takes like 7 to hold anything.
Yep.
So they would give you this one plate, you know, not a wand plate, but a one.
This greasy taco on
bro,
it, or 3.
And then you had to eat so fast,
right?
Because otherwise it's on you.
Right.
You know, period. Right. There is no, and it, you know, it's like, so, you know, we've experienced this Mexican food in a real authentic way.
Right. In Mexico.
Yeah, right. And so therefore, you know, whenever we're around, you know, we're 1,000 miles from Mexico.
Right.
So obviously we're losing a lot. Just like the dope is better in Mexico.
It's like eating seafood.
By the time it gets up here, it's all whitewashed.
It's like eating seafood here.
Right. I love fresh oysters from the river.
Right. I love fresh oysters 48 hours ago.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I just cut and lit this cigar. The construction is really pretty. I'm going to get a little cigar talk in. The wrapper is beautiful. This is a really good look. It tastes different.
It tastes good.
It's got like a little bright taste going on.
A little what?
Bright. Like it's...
All right, nerd.
Like minty. Not minty, but...
I don't taste that.
Not minty, but just bright.
I don't taste that.
It's not heavy.
Yeah. It's light.
Yeah, light.
Yeah.
Light, right. No, not bad.
Yeah,
not bad so far.
Good. I've not been transported to Flavortown yet, but...
Oh, is the bus supposed to show up? Should we unlock the front door?
I assume.
So, see what other dick beater comes in to get screamed at? So we're...
I'm actually disappointed. I wanted to rail on it this whole episode. Just because.
No, it's so far. And you got a bigger cigar than you normally smoke.
Yeah, that side, that guy down there, that shop down there, all he had was, he didn't have anything. What would that size be called? Because I don't know the size.
Yeah, like Grand Corona, Grand Corona, or whatever.
So he didn't have that.
Yeah, so you got to.
He didn't have anything that size.
So the band looks good. I don't know who makes it. I was gonna do some like homework to figure out who's actually making his cigars, but I didn't. So I don't. I have zero knowledge on it. But there's this thing. If you're watching this, you're probably on the internet. So just Google Guy Ferrari's cigars.
Knuckle sandwich.
And this is the knuckle sandwich in Toro. I'm sure it's on the internet because he's gotten business to sell cigars, much like the world famous The Metallica. Is coming out with their own cigar.
So the last famous person cigar you had. Well, I guess I'll wait until you get in it a little while. But so far, is it better than the last famous person's cigar?
Who was the last famous person?
The Escobar.
Oh, Nas cigars. Nas cigars were good. They tasted different. This one's hitting like the back of the throat a little different. Got a little crack in my wrapper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it might have been when I dropped it. I don't know.
Maybe
10% off the items. So So it's Tuesday. So you voted finally after.
After I had to go to 3 polling places.
Did you record your miles so that way you can get reimbursed by the state?
So I went to Cottage Hills Fire Department,
right,
which is where I've always voted since I've been 18. Since I've turned 18 and was able to vote, and they said, nope, we ain't got you. You've got to go up here. What? Why do I have to go up? Well, they redistrict you.
Interesting.
Well, shouldn't I have gotten a piece of paper telling me that I was redistricted?
Right.
Why do I have to find out on the day it is to vote? I said, what if I don't have time?
Right.
And I kind of went off. I was like, what if I don't have time to go
to
this other place now? What if I had time to come here? And
you
now
never wear a watch, but you use this thing. Like,
right. Right. I was like, and I go, no, this is that sneaky, sneaky shit that one of the political parties pulls all the time.
Somebody voted on this and it passed.
And Illinois is famous for this kind of shit. This is what, so you can't tell me.
Right.
You can't tell me that because this is what they do.
Right.
There's a whole documentary on YouTube.
Right.
About how they do, why they do this and how they do this.
Rise to Power, Madigan.
Yeah. They rewrite the lines.
Even if you hate Madigan, watch it to respect his hustle, because his hustle is fucking for real.
But they rewrite the lines to cause confusion in people, to make it a hassle for those certain people to vote, and so that they can gather more votes that they want into the other district.
Right. Oh no, and somebody voted, and it was probably printed in a paper, which no one gets, because they have to put legal shit in papers. Right. Just like last night, I was at city council meeting in my town, and they're proposing a flood wall in Alton, which sounds huzzah, we're gonna have a flood wall. So here's so you had to register to talk, and I did not register to talk, so I didn't speak, right? But the whole time I'm waiting for him to open it to the floor. The whole time I'm waiting for this to happen, because if it does, we're just going to go with math. So this wall is going to cost $6 million. Okay, so the 2019 flood is treated like the second largest flood in Alton. So right after 93. 93 was our largest flood. It took out shit tons of buildings. It was really bad. So it took out my building, but nobody knocked it down, so I bought it. So anyway, so they said that 2019. So that 2019 flood cost $700,000 total.
Right.
With overtime, with material, with everything that we did.
Right.
$700,000. Okay. So at $6 million, you take $700,000 and divide it by that.
Right.
So that gives us 8.5 100-year floods. Right.
But if, and they're going to build this flood wall while the Mississippi River's at record low levels, by the way.
It's not that low. I mean, it is low in Alton, but it's with the lock and dam system, we still have water.
Right. But but this will protect for longer than 8 of those 100-year. You know what I mean?
Does it?
What's
preventative maintenance cost?
I mean, if it's built properly by and engineered properly, then it should.
Right.
But here's why it's stupid. This is why it's stupid. A big attraction to Alton, and I don't even have to know where they're going to put it to know that it's stupid. A big attraction to Alton is the River Road, right? Between Alton and Godfrey.
Right.
And part of the River Road is the river.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So they're going to build this wall all the way up to a certain point.
Right.
And then the water's just going to flow around the wall and fill up the other side of the wall.
So you're thinking logically where the wall should go.
Right.
Okay. That's logical.
It doesn't matter where, even if they put the wall and block off the street, which is, I know what you were talking about.
That's where it's proposed.
Even if they do that, it's still going to flow in.
No, so the wall is, so we have what's really great about when the water table rises. If anybody's ever lived in a flood state, you kind of know when the water table rises, the water table rises.
Right.
So the water comes in the basement. Right, of all the buildings that are the low-lying buildings, which I have one of them, or two of them, whatever, and then, so then you have to pump it out. So where does that go? That's going to go on this side of the wall,
right?
Our side of the wall,
right?
So then you got to pump it from there
to the other side of the wall,
and then and it's a recycling effect, right? It just goes back into the basements.
It's
obviously,
just going to soak back into the ground.
It's just going back into it's so.
Well, but
financially, it doesn't make any sense to build a $6 million wall. But here's where all.
So where's that wall going to start?
It's going to start at the visitor center.
Right. So it's not going to take. Is that Piesaw Street?
Yeah, it's Piesaw, the highway.
So it's not going to go across Piesaw Street.
Nope, we got to build that.
So where's the water?
We got to no. They'll build on. And they're not going to block Williams, and they're not going to block State, but you're going to block the views. I'm going to tell you that it's going to be detrimental to businesses down there. Because if you can't see people having fun, then you're not stopping, you're heading to Grafton. Secondly, you're going to cause more accidents. Because people are going to see the wall and then assume they can't make the right on State or on Williams.
So they're not even going to... So wait, they're not going to...
Nope. They still have to build... They still have to, so we're still spending the overtime money. We're still renting the blocks or whatever it is that we, our Lego pieces that we put together. We still have to buy the tarps every year because they're only good for 1 year. And we still have to sandbag because we still have to block these streets. Now, here's the biggest thing in the whole world, right? So 2019, we had this big flood wall. And it said, our Alton, that was a thing, pray for our town, blah, 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 right. Yada, yada, yada. You know, all the fucking, all the woe is me stuff.
Right.
So then, so Arden Mills, the old ConAgra, Arden Mills, they're in Alton, right? So we build this wall over here, and these dudes are taking John boats to work.
Right.
Do you think they felt like they're part of Alton? Do you think they don't pay taxes?
Right.
So where you're thinking, so Arden's building their own shit. They said, fuck you, Alton. We're going to build our own shit. And they do. So now you get into the river road, to the left of the river road, if you're heading towards Grafton, basically the river side of the road,
right,
is Army Corps.
Right.
Cool. You can build a wall out so far. And you're not going to obstruct any views because you have, what is that, a scrapyard that was down there?
Right,
all that bullshit. So you can build this wall there. And that's a thing. But no, we're going to build and block. So now you have a national historical district.
It's just right. You're gonna block a downtown area. You're trying to revitalize.
Yeah, and say it's we're all here for tourism, but yet we're going to build a fucking wall. That's like saying,
it's like building a wall around downtown St. Charles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where there isn't a wall because
you just deal with the effing floods.
You just do, yeah, right.
That's what we do. I mean,
of course, all those businesses are uphill.
They are uphill,
yeah,
and so what floods is parking and
right.
Beautifully engineered. Way to go, Mr. Charles, that fucking built it or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
So, but maybe there was businesses down there at one time, and they.
Well, I'm sure there was.
So then this came up.
Sure, there was.
This comes up, right? Well, so they say this, right? And it's like in passing, but it kind of caught my I'm sitting with a few other business owners downtown. And so And he goes, well, I mean, the other scenario is FEMA has to buy the buildings out. And I was like, whoa. Hold on, buddy.
Yes.
Hold on.
Please.
Hold
yes,
on.
Please.
Check, please. So, we're all done, and the
Sign me up.
mayor comes up and shakes my hand because he sees me at every function, right? And he goes, hey, how you doing? I was like, man, I was just trying to figure out how much I'm going to charge for my buildings.
Right.
I got you, bro. You can have my shit.
Right.
Yeah, this fucking thing's falling down anyway. I'll move uphill.
Right. How much?
Right. East Broadway's kicking off anyway. I'll just go up there. Fuck, Simmons haven't bought everything yet. So anyway, that's been and then I had to go right back to the same room, and the lady goes, what district are you in? I go, what? And I go, I don't know, I haven't moved. And she goes,
right.
Oh, yeah?
No.
Oh, fuck. Hung up on themselves.
Denied.
Right. So yeah, they redistricted in Alton, and they moved polling place 3 to the courthouse, which by the time anybody watches this, it won't matter. But so the lady was real nice, and she goes, what district are you in? And I go, I don't know. And she goes, where do you normally go? I go, right here. And she goes, oh, then you go over here. And it's the same people always.
So this is how stupid it is too, because so I leave Cottage Hills Fire Department, which I was super mad about.
Right.
For more than
what if you walked there? What if you didn't have a car?
Right. More than just the one reason.
Right.
I was mad. So when I left Dollar General to go get tea, and I remembered, I got to go vote.
Right.
So I drove Dollar General Bethalto back to Cottage Hills.
Right.
But that's not that big of a deal. I was just going to wind the back roads and come here.
Right.
It's not that big of a deal. But as I was pulling out of Dollar General in the truck with no plates.
Right.
As I was pulling out of the Dollar General in the truck with no plates.
Says fuck your state.
A state boy rides past me.
Yeah.
And so I go, oh, no way. Come on. So he turns right to go down 140, and I'm like, well, I'll be behind him. I'll be all right. I'll just keep my distance. I'll let a few cars go. I'll keep my distance. So I turn.
Hook the winch to him.
Right. I turn on, and I got a few cars between us, and I noticed that he's in the left turn lane for 255, waiting for the light. There's no way I'm not passing him.
Yeah, right.
No way.
Yeah, you got to pass him.
So I end up turning into Taco Bell. And I'm like stalking this cop now, like, go. And so that took me extra time to go back to vote.
Right.
Because I had to wait for State Boy to go away.
Right.
And, because I don't want to pay my extra taxes. I just want to go vote.
Right.
I don't want to pay my extra taxes.
I'd like to vote for less taxes.
Right. But so they send me back to Bethalto. Right. I don't live in Bethalto, but they send me back to Bethalto.
Yeah, where's polling place
where there are 3 polling places within a block of each other.
That makes sense.
So I go in the first one. I go, I don't know where I'm supposed to be. And the lady goes, well, where you at? And I told her where I'm at. And I go, I live in Cottage Hills, not Bethalto. And she goes, and Mr. George was there.
Yeah.
So, of course, Mr. George recognizes me right away.
Right.
And he has to, hey, Charles.
Yeah, right.
And
pretty spot on. Good job, buddy.
Right. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
But, and so I kind of talked to him, and they were real nice. Everybody was real nice.
Yeah, everybody's nice.
And she goes, oh, well, you got to go 2 doors down. And I'm like, what? Why? Why can't 2 doors down just be right here?
Right.
Do you not have enough room?
Right.
There's 2 people in here voting. You have 6 booths. So I walk 2 doors down. They've got 6 booths. There's 1 person in there voting.
Right.
And so I'm sitting there voting. And I start the conversation because I'm like, this is my 3rd place. Right. I start the conversation. So now they're having the conversation.
Right. Everybody's in their booth having the conversation.
I was the only one there to vote at that time. So the old lady's like, I've been voting there for 66 years. Trust me. And she's mad.
Yeah.
She's like mad.
She's
like going to stroke out and die mad. and she's more mad than she should be at that age. And I go, well, so this guy comes in and he goes, so I'm here to vote. And he gives them their name. Oh, well, you got to go to the police station. The police station's a block away, literally across the street.
Right.
Literally across the street. And he goes, well, whose idea was this? So I'm voting, right? I'm drawing all my circles in the R's, angry. And I go, well, I could tell you whose idea it was, but it'd be electioneering. And I went back to voting, and I hear one guy go, yeah, because too. It's a tactic that they use to make it a hassle to vote. It's racist, if you want my opinion.
Yeah, because what if you don't have a car? Like, what if you didn't have a car and you walked to your polling place to do your civic duty?
Right.
Nice, every podcast.
Right.
Now
you got to walk 3 more miles.
Yeah, and who's going to do that? They're not. Is there shuttles running? No, there's not.
Nope.
Yeah, we can run shuttles. We can rent shuttles all day to take you to bars to get that tax revenue.
Yep.
Anyway.
And in this state, it isn't the Republicans doing it. So, not that we're, trying to be politically affiliated today, but
dude,
the Republicans
today
it just isn't.
Dude, I went straight Nelly, bro.
In this state.
I went hard R on everything.
Hard R.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I
went hard R on the ones that I knew the names, and I didn't want them to get elected. The Democrat names, and I didn't want them to get elected. Chris Tharp was one of them.
Thanks for ruining YouTube, Tharp. I'll see you at the next wedding we go to.
So he was one of them. Well, he might have an earful for you because there's no way he didn't look and see who I was.
Oh, yeah?
And see you on my friends list. There's no way he didn't because I went off on him.
Oh, did you?
And
nice.
And then I went libertarian on all the ones. I didn't recognize the name, and I didn't know who neither one of them were.
How beautiful was that to see all those libertarians?
Yep, that was
Man,
nice.
that was fucking nice. Cool. And
I have not seen a single political ad from them. And I've seen a lot of political ads
because they don't have the money. They don't have because Madigan's not giving $3 million to a downstate fucking bullshit election.
So I was sitting at home doing my usual thumbing,
right?
Just mindlessly thumbing, and I come across not 1 or 2, but like 3 Chris Tharp ads.
Oh, nice.
So that kind of triggers me, like, okay, bud, fine. Yep. And it was that day. You had to have been you because you just said it. You just mentioned it. So it had to have been you.
Oh, I saw that post. I saw your post.
So I said, did you take money from?
Right.
Nope, never even met the man.
Wow.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But you don't have to meet him to take money from organizations supported by him or supporting him.
Right.
You don't have to take. So I dug into it because that's what I do.
Right.
So I dug into it, and I was like, well, you took money from ISDF, and who gives money to ISDF? Well, I'll be damned if it isn't Madigan Associated.
Sure. Right. And if you really want to learn about politics and what people stand for, just follow the money. I mean, that's the end of all of it. You just follow the money. I think that I could, right now I'm the most financially in the most financial despair ever. And if somebody from Madigan offered me, I don't care the dollar amount, I would still say no.
And I'm going to tell you right now, if he had been like, well, yeah, of course I got money from these Democratic sponsors that are associated with. If he had said that, I probably would have voted for him.
Yeah, if you don't run and hide,
little honesty goes a long way,
and lie because
if you don't spend your entire political ad telling me that you are not the typical Democrat, and then you took money from typical Democrats, and you give answers like a typical Democrat when confronted about where the money came from, then you are a typical Democrat, sir. Mm-hmm. And you're lying, and you get people like Jim Johnson or whatever that guy's name was hooked on that lie, and then they defend you like they're secret lovers.
Right.
Which maybe they are. I don't know.
Well, we don't know. I was trying to get this wrapper leaf to come off in one piece here.
So let's continue. We'll just continue since we're both angry today. This will probably be the most watched podcast, honestly. This will probably be the most watched. I watched the Woodstock 99 documentary.
How was that?
Last night. Oh, geez. Almost unwatchable.
Really?
Almost unwatchable.
99 Woodstock? There's a Woodstock 99?
So I was familiar with DMX, and this is the first thing that pissed me off royally, and I just wanted to turn it off right then and there. I was familiar that DMX had a song where he did a chorus, and it was a shout back kind of song, like he would do it live, and the audience would shout it back. Mm-hmm. And it was my N-word.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So he performed it at Woodstock 99. And Woodstock 99 was at least 98% white kids, right? At least.
Right, sure.
So he performs it, and they're shouting back, right? Oh. They're shouting back. This is all Gen X still, right?
Sure.
Most of them.
Right.
All Gen Xers, right? And they shout it back. And this reporter that they're interviewing for this part of it, because I guess they had to have a black journalist
for
the DMX part, because he wasn't really in the other parts.
Right.
Just the DMX part. I mean, they would get an insert from him here and there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But most of his talking and commentary was on the DMX part. So I guess because DMX is black, they had to get the black guy, journalist, to comment on the black artist.
Right.
Right? Because that's not racist at all, is it? You're allowed to comment on this part, but not all these white bands, just this guy.
Right.
Right? So he says, instead of focusing on the fact that there was all this like nobody cared. Like nobody cared that they were saying it. Nobody, like it was just part of there was just this overall vibe that we were here to have a good time and not nitpick and be.
It's all peace and love, is what you're saying.
Right. We're all these people are here to have a good time.
Peace, love, and the N-word.
And it's so instead of focusing on that part of it, you know what I mean?
Right.
Instead of focusing on that, he goes, imagine how all the black people that were there felt. They probably didn't give a shit, bud. They were probably standing. So considering the fact that nobody got punched in the face during his concert, that happened later in the weekend.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah, they probably 99 was terrible. It was bad, but there was no way it couldn't have been bad, and it really wasn't as bad as this documentary and MTV tried to play it off.
Right.
As it could have been when you consider the numbers and everything involved. But instead of focusing on the fact that Generation X, I've said this before, you've probably heard me say it, Generation X had racism beat. We beat it. We had it done. We held hands and sang "We Are the World."
Yep.
It was over. And you know how we ended it? We just didn't give those people the forum. We didn't pay no attention to them. They weren't anybody worth listening to, and we just kind of ignored them. And whenever it would come up in an inappropriate way, it gets shut down.
Yeah, exactly right.
So we had it beat, and then the next generation had to come along and fix it. And now where are we at? Where are we at again? Right. So, but oh no, I got to focus on the dark side of this. And then other than that, it was a bunch of neutered males and purple hairs talking about the toxic masculinity of the whole environment. Because there was there was 400,000 people at this thing.
Wow.
In a 3,000-acre
farm
area.
Right.
It was actually done on an Air Force base.
Oh, nice.
400,000 people stuffed into 3,000 acres. Okay? That's not a lot of room. This is asshole and elbows.
So what was the
almost everywhere?
Yeah. So what's the big gripe?
And then they fed them alcohol.
Right.
Like massive amounts of alcohol. And I'm sorry, bad things are going to happen. There's no way bad things aren't going to happen.
Oh, sure.
And then you've got a bunch of females, and of course, and I'm not saying that they should have been touched just because. I'm just saying that if you're walking around with your tits out in front of 400,000 mostly males, and you're walking around with your tits out, and they're all drunk and drinking all day,
they're gonna say shit.
Somebody's gonna grab your tit. It's not right.
Nope.
It shouldn't happen.
Nope.
But it's gonna happen. That's the environment you're in, unfortunately. And worse things than that are gonna happen if you know what I mean.
Right.
Worse things than that did happen.
Well, sure. I mean, it's literally that's alcohol is going to lower the inhibitions,
right?
And it's also going to make if you're going to be praying, it's going to make you pray. I guarantee that people went there just for that, to grab some girl's tits, just to wait for some girl to pass out.
Yep.
Because you can't get it anywhere else. You're gonna spend all this money to go to this freaking music festival in the hopes to prey on somebody who is too intoxicated.
Right.
So we should outlaw alcohol.
Right. But that's all they focused on was
the negative.
So listen, if you got 400,000 people and they had reported 100 assaults, sexual assaults, which means it's probably more like 1,000.
Sure.
But out of 400,000 people in a 3-day event, only 1,000 again, not saying it should have happened, not saying it's acceptable, not condoning it in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
And that's not a bad ratio.
And
it really isn't.
If the event is peace, love, and what was the 70s thing? It was
69. It was peace, love, and I was telling Sarah, I was like, you can't tell me that shit didn't happen back then too.
Absolutely,
it happened then too.
Absolutely right.
There was free love everywhere back then. They were fucking anything that moved.
Right.
But I guarantee you, somebody got raped.
Oh, absolutely.
I guarantee you, people were getting raped. People were getting beat up. I guarantee people died, but you don't hear about that because that's not the way they, you know what I mean? They didn't spin it that way, and they never spin it that way because that was the acceptable. This happened to be, and then they're sitting there blaming the artists, like Fred Durst. Well, Fred Durst come out and sung angry songs. Did you not watch his videos or listen to his music before you booked him?
Right.
That was his thing.
Right.
Well, Korn came out and did angry songs. That's what they did.
Right.
Rage Against the Machine. Oh, come on now.
Right. It's in the title.
Let's just stop.
Right.
Let's just stop now.
Right. No, yeah. What a, and that's sad, man. It's where we're at. It's, that you're going to take, and you're not going to report those music festivals because obviously everybody that was there wasn't there for free. Somebody made a lot of money on that festival.
Oh yeah, they made a lot of money.
Right.
Well, I bet they lost some money too because on Sunday night they burnt a bunch of shit.
As a party should end.
Right.
Right. As a party,
and that's what I was telling Sarah. I was like, it was. They had to expect some level of this because that was our generation. That was we were angry.
Right.
We were angry and wanted to do something because things were heading the wrong direction, but we just didn't because we got to the point where we were just like, fuck it.
Well, and I think that's
just leave us alone.
I think that runs in waves, and it just seems like the generation after us has their waves a little sooner. Like they're more woke than a lot of other generations, and they're mad about stuff that we wouldn't be mad about because we already been mad about it and we saw that it didn't do anything.
Yeah, we saw that it doesn't go nowhere.
Right.
You're not going to bitching and crying about it on the internet and being offended by it, and you're not going to. You're not going to do nothing. You're not going to do. Listen, I'm telling people this for years. You don't want to be mad about all this, that, and the other. I'm not mad about the people that riot over the police shootings because they're doing something.
Yeah.
Because that's the appropriate. Now, they're focusing all that anger and hate on the wrong people.
Right.
But
if you don't have a lot of transportation due to your economic status,
right,
you're gonna make your statement known wherever you're at.
Right.
And I fully. Does it suck that, small businesses were taken down? Yeah, dude, I own small businesses. Was there anger focused on definitely the wrong people? Yes, but did they get the attention? Did they write it out, though? Nobody wrote it out to the proper way.
Nobody.
There was no follow-through.
Well, there was no follow-through because they came in and invented a group.
Sure.
A group
right.
that was going to do the follow-through.
Right.
And they invented this group to do the follow-through so that the follow-through didn't happen.
And then what happened with that group?
They paid the people in charge large amounts of money, and those people did what poor people with large amounts of money do.
Yeah. They just collected money.
Yeah.
It's always about the money. Every political thing that you ever see is always about the money.
And they used it to better their lives because that's what poor people do when they get money.
Absolutely, they do better their lives. But we don't have the education on how to better it. Did anybody win the Powerball last night? Mm-hmm. I don't know either. But so like that person, it's going to be $500 million richer. Of course, their lives and everybody who, if it's especially a poor person. If you watch those documentaries on YouTube that, they won the lottery and they're still poor, right? They win the lottery and they're still poor. Well, of course they are. You can't give poor people money. You can't give me money.
No.
If I have money, I'm going to make bad decisions with it because I haven't been educated.
Well, I don't know. You give me $500 million and I'm not going to be poor in 10 years. I might be dead, but I'm not going to be poor.
Right. So, but there's the thing. Like, you talk to...
I have one hell of a headstone.
you talk to people that, like if you win, that's the fun part about the lottery. It's just the dreaming part, right? Like, what would I do with it or blah, 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 Well, I take care of, a meal goes to everybody in my family. Okay. What's that going to do for them? Is that going to cause them more headaches? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go straight to my lawyer.
Well, it all causes more headaches.
I'm going straight to my lawyer, and then we're going to go start a company somewhere else before I claim that ticket. I'm going to start a company in a very, very, very nice tax-saving area.
Right.
Because I don't have a lot of knowledge, but I did learn some shit on YouTube.
Right.
And that is, I'm going to start a business, and that business won the lottery.
Right.
In a country that is a tax haven.
And then in a state that's a tax haven. Right.
No, fuck a state. Goddamn fucking country. This company started in this country. They just won the lottery. It's income tax anyway. Everybody gets their taxes, right? Okay, cool. Now I get a paycheck from this company. That way I get to write off that fucking money I spend.
Right.
I'm going to get that shit back. Now, you take somebody who literally lives in the trailer, who dropped out of fucking grade school, who, somehow gets a winning lottery ticket. What were they going to do? They're going to buy everything they've always missed out on.
Buy a mansion and a Ferrari.
Goddamn right.
I mean, I'm going to buy a mansion and a Ferrari.
You're goddamn right. I'm going to buy a Ferrari and fucking send it. You will know. You'll see me at Taco Bell getting a Mexican pizza and a fucking $1 million car.
I'm going to whistle and diesel that shit.
You goddamn right. But still, even if you did and you record everything, right? Now you've just turned that into more money. So we have, at our age,
That's a nice label.
It is a nice label. Everything's nice about it except for this giant crack that's happening on mine.
Huh.
Yeah.
You unrolled the wrong one, sir.
I guess I did. Damn it. Well, out of 3, it's still smoking okay. I'm going to see how it goes down there. On the unroll of the cigar, the wrapper I had a hard time getting off. It's a very thin wrapper leaf. I would say probably a Connecticut seed at some point, but I don't know. So anyway, very thin wrapper. The binder was nice. It was actually 2 binders, 2 leaves that they used to roll it up. So it was pretty nice. We got a little patch in there too. The filler was, I thought it was going to have some short filler in there, and it.
Nope.
I don't think it did. I don't think it had any. So all the tobacco smells really good. Like how long have these been out? Maybe a year or so.
I have no idea.
I don't even know if they've been out a full calendar year, but
no idea.
The tobacco, there's no green. What did we unroll yesterday? It had a goddamn green.
Last week?
Yeah, remember it had a green spots on it.
I don't remember.
So, are you looking to see what we unrolled?
No, I'm looking to see how long.
Oh, the cigar's been out? We're going to do our education on the fly.
That's right.
So if you voted, tap in that you...
So it's by Espinosa.
Okay. Oh, it says Espinosa on it. On the label.
Creamy with notes of nuts, white pepper, and sweet cedar.
What's white pepper taste like?
I don't know.
I don't either.
It's a medium body cigar with an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper over a Nicaraguan binder and filler.
Okay.
So.
What's that wrapper again?
Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper. Oh, no, that's the Maduro. Ecuadorian Habano wrapper.
It's a pretty thin wrapper leaf. Like it was almost a Connecticut. Oh. So the red truck's going to be leaving soon.
I don't know how people taste all this stuff. I just don't.
It's such a small percent of the population that actually taste it. So if you were to copy that,
I could see a little bit of cedar. I could see I can see that being what I taste
before the smoke or during the smoke. You can maybe get a little cedar. Okay.
During, but I can't taste any kind of nuts or white pepper.
I think I get a little tongue tingle with the pepper, like about where I'm at now.
And I guess you could describe it as kind of creamy.
Yeah, I'm definitely going creamy with it.
I guess you could describe it as that.
And then if you copy that and Google that text, and then 7 different coffees will show up with the exact same fucking...
7 different coffees. 7 different cigars.
Don't be fooled.
Right.
by the fucking marketing.
Right.
It's a good cigar though. I'm not mad at it.
It is a good cigar.
I'm not mad.
You might want to look at getting them in.
I probably won't. I just
They
told
might
her.
be popular.
I told her. Yeah. I mean, I love the label.
Yeah, the
label's cool as shit. Kudos to the designer on the label, probably from Espinosa. I don't know if we have ever had any cigars in here from Espinosa.
Yeah, maybe I would like to taste the smaller
one,
the smaller size.
I wonder if it would be less creamy and more peppery because of the binder.
Yeah.
Less filler.
I mean, the bullets are more peppery.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah.
Look at that, folks. We just talked about cigars for way too long.
Right.
So your van door was wide open this morning.
I probably just didn't show it.
Well, don't you think Jeff would have seen it last night?
You would think so, but nobody took anything. So
yeah.
No, probably not, because when Jeff came home, it's losing air in that front corner apparently because it was all up. So probably what happened is it probably wasn't latched. And then as that front corner lost air, which I don't know why it's losing air suddenly.
Oh, you think it's just enough to pop it?
As that front corner lost air and it sunk, it just swung open.
I had a 52 Chevy truck, and every time I'd get on it, especially sideways, all the fucking doors would open. So it was just 2-door truck, right? So 2 doors, but I had the tailgate was a swing open gate, so that motherfucker would come too, because that whole car flexed so hard, that truck flexed so hard. Everything would pop open. Hood, both doors, and the tailgate would all... And the tailgate, it's not like it dropped down. It swung out so it could hit somebody. What a pile of shit. Thanks, Ethan. I had to have it, though. That was back whenever I had a job and made money. So I had to have it, so I bought it. So it was fun to cruise around. That truck, I was doing 70 miles an hour down Highway 70. And... In a chop top truck, and the hood flew straight up.
I had that
happen.
Window. I had that happen on an old box Chevy one time. Hood flew up, smashed over the windshield. That happened on Homer Adams.
Did it really?
As I was coming on the Homer Adams in front of the trailer church there.
What's the trailer church?
Off of 140.
Oh, okay.
That church that's there.
Yeah.
As I was coming off the exit ramp onto, that's where it happened at. And I almost, because I was switching lanes, and I almost got that Jersey barrier in the middle.
Oh, nice. Yeah, those Jersey barriers, maybe the flood wall will be built out of those, because those seem to take a beating and keep on. So, what's preventative maintenance going to cost?
Who's in charge of... I feel like it's the same people that think painting murals betters the community.
Nope, it's definitely not. So, yeah, I'm getting a mural painted on my building, buddy. It's
going to better the community.
Yeah, it's going to better my building.
So all them homeless people have something pretty to look at.
Well, right. We lost one though. Rest in peace, Chris. So we no, it's not. So here's why the city was kind of in an uproar. So back in 20, we had a vote on this flood mitigation, right? And of course, the council votes in favor of flood mitigation because we should do something about it. Whether it's
But you can't do anything about it.
You can have better rainwater runoff. You can have some things. You can. There's check valves that you can put in pipes. There's a lot of things.
But But there isn't, because it's a river.
Right.
And that river's going to do, and it's the biggest river in the country.
Right.
And the biggest river in the country is going to do whatever it wants to do.
Water's going to rise. No matter
when
what.
It wants to do it.
Right.
So your flood wall, that river may just be like, puny humans. So and that flood wall might wash. You don't know.
So here's the other thing. So if we're going to get into really protecting the town, how much is the city or this grants or the feds or whoever? How much are they going to pay to fill in all our basements? Fill them in. That way we save our buildings. But guess what? Where does the water go if the basements are full?
The bad thing about FEMA buying it out is that's an entire historic district gone.
Yeah.
Because they'll just level it.
Yeah.
They won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So their historic district is gone.
Yeah. So they won't. I doubt if the National Historical Society will allow something like that to happen.
So that's the thing too. Is it a bad thing? Is it a bad thing?
What's that? Tear them down?
Yeah.
No.
You've got the pictures, you've got the history, it's time to, there's a reason. There's a reason we don't live in houses that were built in the 1800s anymore.
There's a reason why we don't live. So if you look at old photos of Alton, how many businesses were, so we have
right on the river.
Yeah, not just that, but like where there's the riverfront park and all that, the amphitheater.
Right.
Those were businesses and houses and whatnot, right? There was houses, there was different streets. There were state streets in Alton, like whatever, name a state, and there's a Missouri, Illinois, blah blah blah, right? So that whole neighborhood is gone because the flood.
Right.
You can't build on
because the river came along and moved their houses for them.
Yeah, pretty much. So, well, there was a cemetery by the riverfront. Remember in 93, there was a cemetery by the river. So, obviously in 93 was our largest flood we ever had on record. So in 93, there was literal coffins floating down the water. Do you remember the coffins?
Where was there a cemetery?
It was up, like towards Iowa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay.
So
I know what you're talking about.
So
now.
there was a cemetery there that literally the ground was so saturated, it lifted coffins out of the ground.
Yeah.
They're not buried a foot under. Right. They're buried 6.
Right.
And moved them downriver.
Right.
So guess what? They didn't rebuild. There wasn't a whole uproar to put these bodies back in the same spot because obviously this is a bad spot. So we're going to have to move. And then, talk about your final resting place.
So why not? And it's an unpopular opinion in Alton because there's a bunch of backwards thinking people in Alton. Why not spend that $6 million on and it's probably cost more than $6 million really, but it would be better mitigation. Why not tear those buildings down and build a park? Mm-hmm. And this is a historic park, and here's your plaques with all your pictures of what used to be here, and all that stuff. And here's your nice green, and move those businesses further away from the river.
Yeah,
where they're not going to be in. But that makes sense.
So we are probably, as the flow crow flies. Wow, we're 20 feet from the river, where the cigar shop is downtown.
You're more than 20 feet. You're probably about 200 feet.
Not a chance.
Yeah, definitely.
If you went straight through the grain silos.
Yeah.
So I thought for $6 million, we just moved those grain silos, we build that wall there and put a park on top. And then, but where does the water go? It's just going to come up further downriver.
Well, right.
I mean, it's more than a one town thing.
Yeah, you're going to fix your town's problem, but that's some other town's problem.
So if I fill my basement in with concrete, if I fill that full 10 foot of basement, 800 square feet of basement, I'm going to fill it all in with concrete. The person that's to my left, that's closer to the river,
now they get all that water.
They're going to get more water.
And I understand. Well, listen. So I'll ask you, because I know that before you bought the building, you thought it would be cool to own a historic building.
Sure.
How cool is it to own a historic building now that you own one?
It's still cool. Is it really still cool? It's still cool. Yeah. There's still
that mountain of debt pretty cool, is it?
The mountain of debt is not, but it's just money. Everybody's getting theirs, so everybody will get theirs. But it is cool because I still see it finished. I don't see it.
Well, no, but you're looking at the vision,
right, of
what it could be,
right.
But what I'm talking about is, could it have been that vision without the historic part of it?
Oh, I didn't care.
Not your vision, the historic part.
I didn't care about I don't care about it. I didn't get to vote on that. I would have voted not.
You cared that it was a historic building.
No, I cared.
You thought it was cool that hey, this building was around. Blah blah blah. You did.
No, that's neat. But it's not.
It is neat.
It's not like that's.
But
not
is that part of it still cool? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
part of it's still
it's neat
cool.
that it has history. If this building used to be it doesn't. It's not a make or break. The reason that it's, where it is because of its history. So it's what I like to see is the old train tracks that ran right by my building. That's cool. You know, that was a whole different era.
Right.
It's neat that it has history.
Right.
The fact that it's a national historical fucking district is really just a pain in the dick. So,
what I'm talking more about the money that it has now taken to bring that building to a point where it's usable, because it's still not really fixed.
No, it's definitely not fixed.
Usable.
Right.
It's not right. It's just usable.
That has nothing to do with that. It's in a historic district, though.
And right, it's because it was built in the 1800s. I mean,
that's negligence.
You could have had a better building on that spot at this point, and it'd been better off
build my own thing, like
in the long
if it
run.
was down.
In the long run, right.
Yeah, but it also adds it adds. You know, it adds character.
Right.
It does. It does add character. So the people that come in.
I'm not saying that it doesn't have its little niche coolness.
Right.
What I'm saying is that you'd still be in a historic part of town. You could still have a plaque out front with the pictures on it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And people could still recognize that, oh, that's cool. This was here and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But you could have a better building.
Yeah. Well, and if it wasn't a historic district, then I could have built literally a pole barn to do everything I wanted it to do and put a pretty facade on the outside.
Right.
And made it look old, but that's not allowed.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that side.
People they're stuck, and it's like that in all of those little areas.
Sure.
They're stuck on, it's got to be left old.
Yeah.
We've moved on from that.
So
you don't drive. Listen, unless you're driving your 1920s Model T with the wind-up crank start engine down there to help restore, then you should just shut up, because you're not. You're driving your brand new car down there and saying, well, this has to be left old.
So have you ever been to San Antonio's Riverwalk?
No.
Have you ever been to Oklahoma City's Riverwalk?
No.
So one of them is old, and one of them is new. So San Antonio's is old, and it is stunning with its characters.
I'm sure it is.
Oklahoma City. I've walked both of them. I've walked both Riverwalks. Right. Wish I had a one wheel back then. Actually, you couldn't ride the one wheel on San Antonio's because it's crazy. But so, and then you have Oklahoma's, which is planned, right? Planned, designed. It wasn't like people just kept building businesses on the river like San Antonio did. But Oklahoma's like, hey, we want a river walk that people can enjoy this river.
Right.
So Oklahoma City's has zero character, zero. I'll never need to go back there again.
But that's because of the design. That's just people that, like, you could knock all those buildings down down there in downtown Alton. You can knock them all down. You could pay a guy to come in and build modern, you know what I mean, to design and modernize those buildings, but keep them with that same character.
Yeah, paying homage too.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep them with that same character, but now you have a modern, like the Challenger.
Right.
I'm just going to relate it to cars because that's what I.
Sure.
It's easy.
It's absolutely right.
The Challenger. That's a modern car.
Right.
But it has the appeal that it had in 68, 69, 70.
Has an old muscle car look.
Right. It has the same appeal. You could do that and have all the benefits and still have that aesthetic.
Yeah.
That design.
It's like building a street rod. Street rods have AC and heat and everything else.
And listen, it's not even. They've already been changing it anyway. Just look at the building right next to the yoga studio with that fake wall in front of it.
Oh yeah, right.
That hides the coolness of the windows that are behind it, because that's got some
stunning
top floor is
badass.
The windows are beautiful up there.
Yeah.
So they've already went through the process to make it look more modern.
Right.
So now you've already lost your history.
Oh no, I'm with you on that. Yeah,
you've already
absolutely.
lost it anyway.
So there's a lady who that Refabulous Relics, right? So that building was like basically all boarded up, and it was just shortcutted, right? It was, so they discover this cool ass architecture, spend the time to redo it, make it there, and it looks fantastic.
Right.
It looks really good. Damn, Regina.
Yeah, someplace to be.
No, Regina texted me about Ebony Huddleston's campaign for circuit judge.
Oh. You're late. You're too late.
Right. Done voted.
You're too late. But that's just so. What's the name of the log cabin up on top of Broadway? Mississippi Mud. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah, I guess.
That wasn't there. That's a new.
I think it's a new building.
Yeah, it's a new building.
Sure.
But it looks like.
Yeah, but
it looks like it could have belonged.
Sure. Well, and just like the Brown Bag Bistro, that's a whole new. And redoing these buildings is a lot like redoing an old car. We take this old shell and we put all the new modern shit in it. We take this old shell, and then what do you have to do to those old bodies?
But at what point does someone? But at what point is that old body to? I mean, you're not going to go to a farmer's field and buy that old Model T body if it's rotted halfway up the doors.
Yes, you are if you have enough money.
You are if you're an idiot.
Well, sure. Thank you. That's me.
If you're dumb, you are.
Yeah. So, but if that's the only Model T there. If it's the only Model T left in the world, and that's your dream to fucking build.
I wouldn't do it. I know what Model Ts are. They're built like shit.
What does it matter? You're going to rebuild it.
Yeah, but I can.
It's going to have all new suspension.
Probably build it cheaper than. I can probably build it cheaper than rebuilding.
So
it.
then that's
or for about the same money at least.
So but if that is not a thing to do, if it's the only one.
But it is the thing to do.
Well, no, I mean, if that's not something you can do,
if you're still repairing half of it to get it even halfway to where it's glory days, but you could have just because they're just like using that for an example, they're real simply constructed. There's not a lot of compound curves and stuff to them. You can build that stuff with almost nothing.
Right.
Would you not rather, if that is going to be more cost effective, then why would you not do it that way?
So what do you think the cost would be in the yoga building? What do you think the cost would be to tear down that building?
And rebuild just that first floor?
Nope. Just to tear it down.
Oh, a lot.
Well, I mean, an educated guess.
At least 20.
No, more than that. No. Shit, you'll have 20 in dumpsters.
No, at least 20.
Dude, dumpsters are $500 a dump.
No, because you'll hire a company that has dumpsters, and they'll come in with the equipment.
Still doesn't matter. You're still paying.
They'd have it down in 2-3 days and probably cleaned up within a week's time. So
unless there's lead or something,
so that's
mold.
Right. So that's what and there's asbestos, and there's going to be. But I would imagine 20 to 20, maybe 30.
Okay, we'll go with. I think that's incredibly conservative dollar amount.
No, I don't.
I think you're minimum $50,000 to tear down that building.
It costs 10 to knock a house down.
Well, yeah, that you're not talking a 15,000 square foot brick building.
It costs 10 to knock a house
on
down
a highway.
So double or triple it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with 30.
Yeah.
So you got 30,000.
I think that's safe.
Now to rebuild, let's say we rebuild a 2-story, not a 3-story.
Right, so you're rebuilding
to look similar.
Right.
So we're going with the Model T thing.
You're probably 100.
Oh, come on.
No.
Come on.
No.
That first floor costs 100 in material alone just to put the drywall up. So we know there's 100 just on that first floor.
Because
we know there's 100 just in material.
Because of all the pain in the ass that it took. $100,000. That's not $100,000 of material.
There was $100,000 of material.
I don't.
So
I'm gonna say it's $100,000.
There's no way you can build, and let's say the second floor is empty like it is now, right?
But how much is it gonna? Okay, so fine, fair enough. So let's go 200. 2 floors, 200. You got $100,000 material on the bottom,
right?
And that probably is a conservative estimate. Especially right now with lumber prices.
Right. So for build out.
But let's just go 250. So now you're 280 in.
Okay.
How much is it going? So now you've got, how much is it going to cost
to redo the second floor?
To redo the second, more than 100.
Probably.
Way more than 100.
Yeah,
so now you're already 230 in.
Right.
And now you've got another third floor that you don't really need.
Well, I'm going to live there.
And you're going to have to eventually do it. You have to. You have to do it.
I'm actually going to start there.
Yeah, you have to do it. You have to do it.
I'm just gonna let my dog pee on the second floor.
And here's the thing: how much of that upstairs, or you're going to have to tear.
I'm gutting the whole thing.
Yeah, you're going to have to gut the whole thing. So now you've got the labor hours, just like you would if you tore the whole building down. Now you've got the deconstruction,
right.
What do they call it, the demolition
right.
of the, but it's demolition where you have to save you have to know what you have to save. So that's going to easily cost you 10, 15, easy. Because you have to hire somebody to come in and go, all right, we can't knock this down, and we can't knock this down, but we got to knock this down.
Not the way this building's built. The building's got it's got exterior walls and a center wall. Everything else is on that. That's it.
But you still have demolition. So you're still going to have demolition charges, and then you're going to have rebuild charges. So are you going to be better in the long run? You're not.
I am.
You're not.
Because I saved a building.
Yeah.
I saved a building. I'm the man of the people. I'm a man of the town. Chuck, I'm the man of the town. I'm saving it.
But you saved a building that shouldn't have been saved.
Well, it shouldn't have been saved on my budget. That's for sure.
It shouldn't have been saved at all. And that's a lot of them buildings down there are like that. So that what's that spot that I like? It looks like it used to be a movie theater.
Oh, Tawada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a really, really cool building.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But even if I had the money, I mean you would kind of be stuck there restoring it because you're stuck between two other buildings.
Right.
But even if I had the money, even if I won this Powerball and I wanted to open a business there, I wouldn't, because it makes no sense to spend all the money to restore a building that's likely falling down.
Likely. But you know what's nice about buildings in between two buildings is they're structurally, they have more integrity than like a corner building like what I have.
Right.
Because like all that, it's crazy how much, obviously how much weight is involved. I mean, it's a ton. I mean, it's more than a ton. It's tons and tons.
The whole district would be better if they would just stop the backwards and just go through, and everybody would have been better off money. But now that you're established, probably not, because you're like Max.
Right.
Max would lose. Geez, I wouldn't even want to think about the revenue.
Tons of millions.
He would lose.
Right.
To have to rebuild. But then again, his building's at a point where it's probably fine. It's not.
No, it always needs more.
And there's the problem with the whole historic district.
So
every building you get into down there is always going to need more and more and more. They're money pits. They're absolute money pits. They're more money pits than a Previa van in the back.
Yeah.
So
I was trying to find this cool photo of the 93.
It's cool. It's really cool. I get it. It's really, really cool. It's neat to be in. I thought it was neat too when you took it over and we got to walk through it. I thought it was neat too. There's just some of the stuff that they did that didn't make no sense, but it was neat because you were like, wow, they were really kind of dumb back then.
So check out that riverfront photo.
Oh yeah.
Look to the right. See what's not there now? Those grain silos.
Oh yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I never even noticed that.
That's so why do we have this one? Let's get rid of that one too. And then let's build this up to where. So here's my thought, my plan, my thought. Yeah.
Well, you can't get rid of that one because ConAgra's it's part of the historic. It's part of the history.
Right, but it's a business, so it can close. So if you close this down and move it, if I give them, you have to pay no taxes if you move south of the bridge. It's where they're going anyway. They're going north anyway, so it doesn't matter. That extra fucking mile isn't going to hurt a thing.
Right.
So you go south. So we take this property right here, and then we build just like the riverfront wall, which can water get above it? Sure, it does.
Right.
But we build, and that's where the cruise ships land.
Right. Yep.
And then there's an actual little park with vendors can be there with little carts and shit like that. Well, I don't know, kind of like New Jersey has on their boardwalk, absolutely. Right. So we could have a boardwalk up there that is elevated, that invites people there for beautiful river views.
So basically, you're saying that you could build a berm there.
I can build that berm for cruise ships, 60 of them, mind you. We're supposed to have 60, but the water's a little low down south.
So people can get on buses and go to St. Louis.
So they can get on buses. So what if they got off right there and they could walk to all the businesses downtown, or they could rent bikes from the little bike rental place right there. Right there.
Right.
This would be tourism. This is still industrial, and I have nothing against the 90 people that work here. Right. There's nothing against them. I still want you to have your job, just further south.
Further south or further north.
Right. But these guys have put in $8 million for flood mitigation because the city just shit on them last time.
Right.
So
I don't know. You'd be better off. It'd just be better off to build a park down there, recognize the history of the park down there.
Look,
I mean, why didn't they?
We did this once before. There's the park, and there's the flood wall.
Right.
And tons of people go there to look at the river from there.
Yep.
And so why can't this wall go right through?
Alton has bad management for that kind of thing all the way around.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the way around. That amphitheater is not being used. How many concerts were there this year?
4.
4.
Maybe. I mean,
4.
Boys to Men.
Right.
Boys to Men came, but I ain't paying $55 to watch fucking men to men.
In an amphitheater.
Right. That you can't smoke cigars outside at.
Outside.
Get out of here.
But how much... Alton's really, really bad
because
for that kind of thing anyway.
Too much greed.
It's too much... Yeah, there's too much politics in it.
Too much greed. Politics and greed are the same thing.
Well, right.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Right, it's too much politics.
So...
You have to kiss this person's ass.
Right.
In order to get this... In order to get this done, you have to kiss this person's ass. And you don't want to kiss this person's ass because she spray paints buildings.
It's not even that. It's not even that. It goes above. She was there to fight against that wall, but she's like, we just need information. So if we have to build to close,
they're not going to give you information because they want to do it.
Well, so we added an amendment last night to, so this thing is still moving forward. This flood wall, right?
Well, right.
So it's still moving forward.
Of course it is because they've probably already allocated the money.
No,
and
they haven't. No, they haven't. So it's a federal grant of $2 million.
So maybe they haven't allocated the money yet, but they've already allocated where the kickbacks are going to go. They've already decided who's going to get this money, this part, and this part.
That's
they've already allocated that part.
That's where the uproar is because this comes through in October. So, and I was saying that we voted on it back in 2020, right?
Right.
Of course, everybody votes. Let's look further into flood mitigation, right?
Yeah.
So
no brainer.
But what there wasn't was a wall going through Sugar Alley. What there wasn't was a wall blocking off downtown from the rest of from the river road, from everything.
Well, because once you voted on flood mitigation, the people that are in charge of it started going, all right, well, we can get a kickback over to this guy.
Yep.
We can get a kickback over to this guy. We can get a kickback over to this guy.
So the engineer was there, and he's like, this is, and then so one of the guys on the council, and I talked to him afterwards in the parking lot. One of the guys on the council goes, have we talked to Arden? Have we talked to Arden Mills?
No, of course they haven't.
They have not.
No, of course they haven't.
Because Arden Mills, and this guy had the info, Arden Mills has just dropped $8 million in flood mitigation. Why wouldn't we just extend their mitigation efforts further down the road to protect the city without blocking the city off, without ruining 2 historic districts?
Why wouldn't they?
We got Indian tribes involved.
Why wouldn't they? Because the river road, if it's flooded like that anyway, it's in your buildings anyway. And if it's flooded to a point where the flood wall is in use where they're going to put it, then the river road is
done.
Yeah, you
closed.
can't use it. It's closed anyway. So
right.
why wouldn't they? So why wouldn't they put it along Arden Mills, along that side of the river?
Yep.
And then a floodgate.
If you lost a half a mile, because you're talking 1,000 feet, that's how long this flood wall is. And most of that 1,000 feet is actually protected by Arden Mills flood mitigation already. So problem one I have with it, right? We're being redundant with our $6 million. So it's the feds give us 2 point something million, and then TIF district money gives us the rest, which is my tax money, right? So all that being said, I was kind of freaked out about property taxes, but so I was like, what day is it? But so anyway, they're trying to stop the flood, but what Alden's going to do is let it go around their wall because Arden can only build on their property.
Right.
So it's going to go around their wall, and then Alton builds a wall, and so they're now surrounded by floodwaters again.
So right. So what I would propose is that you build on that side of Arden, right,
On the riverside.
all the way down to the point where you can access to where the bluff is closer to the road,
Right.
And you put a floodgate there,
Right.
Because now you're stopping it from coming in.
Right. River is closed anyway.
River Road's closed anyway, and then but if you do that, you would have to take that wall all the way down.
If you lost 1,000 feet, if we stuck with the same numbers, if you lost 1,000 feet of river views, you're not going to notice because it's so close to Ardent Mills. You're not looking. You're not looking right there anyway.
Nope, not at
So
all.
I mean, or if you moved all of that, which they just put $8 million in.
Is Abbott still?
Yeah.
They still.
Yep.
Do whatever they do there.
Yeah. They're still busy too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Abbott's still a machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no,
they do something else there.
The sand. The big piles of sand.
The sand's been gone for a little while.
So what do they do there now then?
I don't know, but they do stuff still because there's always cars that want to go that way.
Because you could end the wall there and you could bring a floodgate over, right there.
Right. Which keeps Arden Mills open because the train tracks.
Arden Mills open.
Right.
Keeps the water out of that part of downtown.
Yep.
I mean, but you still have to go past. You still have to go past the boat. So now you're gonna have, but with that idea, you're gonna have to affect the boat.
Well, yeah. So I mean, but where the politics comes in, and it's my land, my land, my land. That's Army Corps. It's Army Corps engineer land. So, and here's the best part about all this: Army Corps is doing a study if this flood wall, and it's not even done yet. They're doing a study to see if the proposed wall on next to all the buildings. They're doing a study to see how effective that is. So take the Morrison's Irish Pub next to the cigar shop.
So who's paying for the study? Because that's who it's going to benefit.
Army Corps is.
So would Army Corps benefit either way? Mm-mm. Well, then the study's going to be like the study's going to say you're not going to do shit.
Well, it should because
it's not going to do shit.
Because it's not going to. Yeah, right. Exactly. So the Army Corps, but then are they going to give up? And then if it falls on Army Corps property, then the Army Corps has to pay. That's why the flood wall's in the city of Alton. Right. It's all about that. It's not really about helping anyone. It's about who's getting paid.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly what it is.
Where the kickbacks are going. They've so it's not that they've allocated the funds, but they've already they know what they're going to get if they get it pushed through. They know what they're going to get.
Right.
And so, therefore, everybody that's going to get a kickback knows that this is where they're in. And unfortunately, those kickbacks are going to the people in charge of whether or not it gets pushed through.
Right.
So.
Yep.
So enjoy your flood wall.
Right. Nope. It's gonna get killed.
Enjoy your flood wall.
I'd rather stay up all night sandbagging like I do. And I told that guy in the parking lot. I said, in 19, do you know how many people were down there all night? I was. I worked here, and then I went down there and I fucking worked with the city guys all night long. We had a great city crew back then.
Well, yeah.
But all that's changed too. All that has changed as well, because that's all appointments. It's not elections. It's appointments.
And I think the $6 million would be better spent pushing it away, knocking it all down, and building someplace where you don't have the problem.
Yeah, then you're
like Grafton's doing it. Grafton was a big historic.
Yeah, no, Grafton's doing great. Look what is big draws in Grafton. Nothing historic.
Yeah, nothing historic.
The gondola,
everything uphill.
Yeah, everything's going up.
Yeah, and because whoever is in charge of doing that in Grafton pulled their head out of their ass and said this makes no sense.
It's business owners.
It makes no sense.
And then what's the bar on the river? Loading dock?
Yeah.
When it floods, you know what they do? They close because it's fucking flooded. And then they reopen when it's not flooded.
Right.
You have to have that. I
have that mentality.
I know that whenever it floods again, we're not going to be open.
Right.
That's a loss of revenue.
Well,
I mean, that's going to happen.
We'll be open. We'll get John boats.
Right.
We'll take people over. We'll ferry them over there.
Something. We'll just deliver cigars from the second floor.
Right.
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 Yeah.
It's being the whole thing's being discussed by people who buy Mercedes while they live in garages.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's the kind of mentality.
Yeah.
That's the kind of mentality. A guy, so there's some guy
who
makes that kind of decisions. I own an Aston Martin and a Mercedes. I live in a dirty garage.
Right.
There's a guy that makes that kind of decisions in charge of all of this.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Probably.
What am I in charge of?
City planning.
Thankfully, nothing. because you shouldn't be in charge of your own life. I don't think.
Hey, it's almost noon, so we should try to get a couple dollars.
Somebody, and thankfully, pretty soon you're not going to be in charge of your own life. You're gonna let somebody manage that for you.
All right. So like, subscribe, share, comment if you got some comments. And
rest in peace, Leo.
Yeah, man. We lost Leo since the last broadcast. I spent some time in the hospital with him. I put a little cigar in his hand. I didn't take a picture of that because it's pandering.
Oh, yeah. It's
fucking right. Pandering. It's stupid.
Right.
So, Leo was, what's weird, and not to be vulnerable, but I've had a harder time afterwards than I have when it happened, like as it was happening. I don't know why, but it's kind of been messing with me, man. It's good dude, and
good dude.
So
it's
he wanted nothing.
It wanted absolutely nothing, and then just a random arm come across the camera, and there it is again. He wanted nothing, and he was everybody's friend. He was that kind of guy. He was a nice guy. He was everybody's friend, and people who want something are using that.
Yeah, there's
we might as well just
no, we're not
right,
but we're going.
I'll shut up.
Yeah, so
it's disgusting.
With every crisis, there's always an opportunity, and
you know who you are, and it's disgusting. What you did is absolutely disgusting.
And so what we, it's like, we all mourn in our own ways, Leo was a good dude. I loved the time I spent with him. I liked being down at the house. He was such a supporter. It was almost fucking annoying.
Right.
I was like,
that's because he was a good dude.
And you know what he asked for it? Not a thing.
Nothing.
No,
they didn't even ask for a free cigar.
Nope, not once. And that's why that dude got so many free cigars, because he never asked.
Right.
He never pandered. He never did anything that he was just authentically fucking great.
Right.
And if the world was ran by guys like that, we would all be holding hands singing "We Are the World" again, because that motherfucker was legit. So, thoughts and prayers, if you're a prayer, to Christina. That was her best friend.
Right.
So, nobody's took the L as hard as she did, because she lost somebody that was there every single day for her.
Right.
So, so rest in peace, Leo, and hopefully you get to rest in peace, because, there's, I'm in a lot of groups that he was in, and I saw a lot of posts, that, maybe they meant something, what I did do is, the Not Gentlemanly Cigar Society at the NGCS, we have stickers in there for them.
Right.
So the NGCS,
that's the online magazine, right?
It's online magazine. It's got like a pay part and stuff like that.
You're talking about the article he wrote.
The article he wrote.
Yeah.
That is going to be published with photos of his cave. The guy that owns it he's going through a divorce.
Right.
And he goes, so him and I had a conversation. He goes, what's crazy is,
I emailed them about it too.
Yeah. So I talk to Chris all the time. So Chris,
so I do.
Yeah. Right. Chris is running this thing, in honor of Leo. His article, his pictures from the man cave. Leo was even talking to him like on Messenger, just trying to help him through his divorce. For what? For nothing, man. Because that's how he is, dude. He helps. Dude. He helps because that's what you're supposed to do, not because you're getting some kind of fucking payoff.
Or because somebody's gonna say his name at some point.
Right. No, I'm with you. So we didn't, You won't see me fucking.
Not for the publicity.
You're not gonna see me fucking pandering, for the woes or for the fucking sympathetic fucking cigar purchase. Fuck that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna
so you can get the attention on social media.
Right. So I'm gonna sell fucking cigars, and I'm gonna hopefully everybody enjoys the Peacemaker as much as Leo did. I bonded a lot with him in that hospital room. I was there for quite a few hours. And he couldn't talk to me, but I could ask him yes or no questions, and he'd give me answers. And, I of course, I had to do something shady, so I went around all his wires and shit. We were talking. I went down there on his Facebook Live. I was telling him, I go, you couldn't figure out your Facebook Live, but you look like fucking Iron Man right now with all these machines hooked up to you. And but I reached around, man, and the dude loved Keishi, and I put it on Keishi 95 for him, and I turned it up, and he his eyes got softer. I mean, you can't listen to Joy 99.1 FM, bro. You literally wreck your fucking hospital bed. Like, if you have that bumper sticker on your car, that motherfucker wrecks. Somebody was going to wreck into him just because they were listening to that fucking music. So I put it on Keishi, and we had our time. And, man, I don't know, man. I don't do hospitals. I don't do death. And I push everything down inside of me. And, eventually that shit's going to explode. And so
it's gonna be bad.
It is gonna be bad.
I know it's gonna be bad because that's what I do, and I know it's gonna be bad.
Yeah. So
I know it's gonna be. Gonna be bad.
I'm trying not to burn bridges in my industry, but man, if you weren't there, don't be there. Just fucking move on. So it's like folks crying over a car wreck when you don't know anybody that was involved. Yeah, it sucks. Say your prayer and then fucking move on. I'm like, don't fucking try to make it a thing about you. It's not about you. It's about this fucking dude, Leo.
Right.
It's about Leo Stone and his fucking constant giving and never, ever asking.
Right.
So that's all I got to say about that.
Right.
All right. Share, subscribe. I doubt if anybody even gets this fucking far.
Andy, you got to make another account.
Right. Andy, twice. I need you 17 fucking emails, 17 YouTube accounts, and I need you to fucking comment from each one of them. Love you, dude.
Right.
You're up there too. We have more people that listen than they say or than they post, and whenever. So we definitely appreciate that. In your own way, just say a prayer for Christina, man. It's not about me or Chuck or the fucking cigar brand or shops or nothing. It's just about this dude's lost his life, and this lady lost her fucking best friend. So just do that on your fucking own.
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe. We're on Instagram. There's not going to be another Fix It Friday this Friday.
Because I'm not going to be here. Sorry.
Well, I didn't. I normally do them yesterday, and I did mindless stuff yet. I didn't do anything important yesterday. I don't know that there will be the next Fix It Friday. You might not get another one next week either. The next Fix It Friday, though, is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
So the next one or two will be good ones because it'll probably have to be two because we're going to cut huge holes in a van roof.
Fuck yes.
Huge holes.
Yes.
That sunroof I bought is 33 by 24, I think.
Ragtop here yet?
Ragtop's not here yet. I sent them an email asking them an ETA. I told them it's not a big deal. Don't rush it or nothing like that. I understand it takes some time, but I'm just kind of excited to cut a hole in a roof.
Fuck yes. So Jeff's moving out, and it's gonna become the worst fucking chop shop ever.
It's gonna become Van Central in here for at least a couple of months because as soon as you're gone, the Nissan's going where your living room is, so that I can tear the top off of it.
Van Nuys Boulevard's in this motherfucker now.
Without having to be in a hurry, because I can already tell you. I can already tell you the intake and fuel injectors on that Nissan it's going to be okay. I feel like messing with it for a couple hours today. Huh? Yeah, but it's you can't work on it.
Dude, it's a VG. Yeah, it's basically a cab over, but the cab don't move.
Right. So it's going to be I feel like taking these 5 bolts out today, and then maybe I'll feel like taking these 5 bolts out next week.
Right. Yeah, that'll be an all-winter project.
Right.
All right. So yeah, give us a like, share, comment, and
when the Fix It Fridays return, you're going to want to watch them if you made it this far, because I'm going to cut a 30 5 by 40 hole in the back part of the roof, and I'm going to cut a 33 by 24, 22, something like that in the front part of the roof. So, and the front part will probably get done first because I have it. It's here, and I'm super excited to do it.
Well, you know what we should
I
do?
think I'm going to get rid of the rear air conditioning too.
Let's do the because it's up in the top, right?
Yeah, and I mean I can fit that first part of the sunroof in without. I can get it in there. But I'm never going to use it.
Let's do it on Mondays. We'll have Jeff work on Mondays, and then that way I can film and move the camera around.
Well, if we are going, I was going to talk to you about that too. So maybe we'll do a Fix It Friday next week, because if Jeff's going to be back on Monday, let's go cut that safe open
I'm down.
Monday.
Yeah.
Let's cut that safe open next Monday.
I cannot wait to solve the Hoffa fucking mystery.
Yes. So let's make that plan right now.
All right.
We're gonna cut that safe open next Monday, and so you'll get a video of that.
Yeah, cool.
So
that'll be a Fuck It Friday. Fuck it up Friday.
Yeah. It's not gonna take that long.
Hey, you know what? Hey, let's just throw it in the basement because floodwaters take care of it.
Right.
All right. See you.
Right. Unrolled on Instagram, and you're watching us on YouTube. So like, share, subscribe, comment, interact. It helps. Everything helps. Thank you.
Suit color.